So the first question for you is there any move in France to standardize the air permeability test in accordance with the ISO 9972 standards? So I think you can
Okay.
clarify
Yeah.
the specific.
Yeah. So we do perform the test in accordance with ISO 9972. That's the main standard. That's what drives the test. But we still have a specific guidelines for France to explain some things that cannot be explained in an international standard, like specificity of the EP regulation. We need to have a test consistent with our EP regulation. So we do have things that gives the specificities of France, but the main driver is ISO 9972, and we respect the rules of the 9972, the 5 Pascal and everything. And that's also why we are very active in the revision of the 9972, because that's very impacting for us.
Thank you. Are there any criteria that is used to determine the sample area, or can the area with the least penetration or least changes in materials be used to make the test result more favorable?
Of course not. Of course, we've got criteria. We've got criteria for everything. So yes, we've got criteria. You have to measure the linear of windows and floor and wall junction line, etc. And you have to pick your building, your dwelling according to that. So that's one of the things that is clearly defined and explained in the specific FD document for France. That's we cannot make it to have it put in an international standard, I think, because not everybody would agree with your criteria, but we've got very strict criteria, yes, to determine which dwelling have to be tested when you do a sampling of multifamily buildings.
And there is the penalty if you do that also.
Yeah, also now, yes, now there is a 1.2 penalty. If you do the sampling, you have to multiply your results by 1.2 in the end.
Another question, how many people does it take to run the QA process you described?
The quality management approach, I guess. Yes. So it depends what is the question. How many person does it take at the ministry, or how many person does it take in the company? So in a company, you need to have one person that is the reference person for this, but it's not a full-time job to run this quality management approach. It's just that he is the one in charge of the process. Usually an external consulting office will help him to set up the details and everything at the beginning, and help him with the folder that you have to give back to the ministry to get the approval. But yes, this is usually one person in a company, and it's definitely not a full-time job. It just needs to train the craftsman, like half a day or 2 hours maybe, and to have the development of the QM approach takes time, but then when it's running, it doesn't take that much time. And then there is a certification office that gives the certification. It's no longer the ministry that gives himself the certification. There is a ministry has approved some certification office to give the certification for builders. So it's not takes that much time. It's setting it up that takes times, but not running it afterward.
Okay, thank you. About the main leakage locations, is it qualitative reporting only, or is it quantified?
So it's only qualitative. They go there either with the thermographic or with smoke, and sometimes also the bolt people just detect it with their head. But yeah, that's I know someone doing that very well. But yes, so it's impossible to quantify it because it depends on the size of the leak, of course. And that's why we have tried to make this correlation between the fact that the leakage happened and the airtightness of the building, to try to find out what are the leakage, the most important leakage. But this report is very important because it helps the builder and the craftsman to improve their work. I mean, if you've got leakage in every sockers and every electric plugs and everything, you know that there is something wrong with the way the electrician is doing it. So that's something that was very important for the qualification for the requirements. The requirement wouldn't have come into force without this qualitative reporting of leakage location, because the idea was really to improve the quality of our building more than the value itself of airtightness.
Okay, thank you. Do airtightness testers work independently from the energy modelers? Can you speak to about their working relationship, if any?
I don't know about all the working relationship between modelers and airtightness tester, but yes, usually they are independent company. Some energy modelers get some people that are also airtightness tester in the company, but it's two different jobs. Usually the airtightness tester has more relation with the builder himself. He will be the one that will make the link between the energy modelers and the airtightness tester. And the link is, of course, mandatory, because the energy modeler will provide the envelope area, and the airtightness tester will provide the value of airtightness to be put in the calculation. So they can be fully independent. There is some companies that do both, not that much. They can work together or not. So that's very, very. It depends on construction site.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we don't have any more questions directly to you, but we have a question addressed to all speakers. So the first one is the ISO certification accepted widely in the USA, Canada, and in the European Union? So I guess you can speak one after the other if you have things to add on this.
I'm unclear on this. I mean, ATMA's not, say, 17024 or 17065 qualified. We are going for 17024 next year, which is the standard for the competence of individuals, where 17065 is for the competence of companies, just for reference. We do operate the ATMA competent person scheme not only in the UK. I think we've got about 70 testers in Australia. We've got about 20 in New Zealand. We have a couple of other applicants from other countries. We've got a small group in Poland, and we've got a small group in Asia. And then I think we've probably got about 25 testers in the Middle East. And as I say, we don't have ISO accreditation, but we still operate there.
So I'll speak for United States. 17024 is more or less the minimum requirements for personnel certification. Some of the states have wording that whole building testing has to be done in accordance with a person that's been certified by a certification body in accordance with 17024, and one of them says, such as the Air Barrier Association. So we know one organization can be referenced in a building code in North America, but it can be given as an example. And 17024 is taken even past whole building testing. It gets into the qualification of installers on the construction site and so on.
Do you want to say a word on this as well?
But I won't say a lot of words. I would say no that I am aware of, because I don't, at least not in France. There is not an ISO certification here on this subject.
Okay, and we have another question for all of you. Is it challenging to keep a sufficiently large pool of certified testers to meet the demand for tests in the different countries?
You want me to go first again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Started. No, not especially. You don't need a vast number of staff. I mean, there's me full-time at ABAA, and then we've got some support staff in the office, but it's probably, for those 615 tests at ABAA, it's probably 2 people. And then obviously you've got the normal accounts associated with that, and the other kind of business functions that are handled by other departments in the group. But generally, just for the certification process, it's like 2 people's work.
Question is also about do you sometimes have more demand for a tightness test than what testers can do because of the number of testers that is not big enough?
No, I mean, the construction industry in the UK is a bit flat at the moment, so that we've probably got too many testers rather than being the opposite way.
Yeah, I would say the same also for France. I mean, there are some period of the year where it's a bit challenging, like in June. June is the moment where we've got the most tests because everyone want to finish the building before the summer, because of course in July and August nobody works in France. So at some period of the year it may be challenging, but I mean in general keeping the right number of testers is good, and we see that in France now it even decreased because people get more professional and are more efficient doing their test. So I think it's okay.
We have similar spikes to France, but we have them June and December because that's when the large construction companies have their end of year and half year. So they try and push the numbers of houses that are sold through the books, basically, to make their accounts look better and, you know, for their shareholders.
And in the United States, I don't think we have a deficit. We do have most of the testers who have traveled a fair distance, so it's covered. But we also have a growing pool, which is helping as whole building testing grows in the United States. People are aware of it and looking at it as a business opportunity. So that pool is growing. So we don't have a shortage, not yet.
Thank you for your answers. And I see that one more question for the 3 of you has arrived. What happens if the owners or the contractors do not want to share in public the results? Did you have any case like that?
Well, I can start again for the UK. On the energy assessment for dwellings, basically the air permeability result is stated on the EPC. So that kind of covers that. For non-dwellings, it doesn't. So for the vast majority of tests, it's disclosed. So the potential occupier of the building can easily find the EPC on a dwelling and find out what the result was.
Yeah, in France, the owner or the occupant of the building must have an access to the result indeed of the EPC, but the result of the test is not shared with the public. What is shared with the public is the kind of statistics that I have showed, but never ever you can say, okay, I will go to check the building in this street, what's the result of the airtightness test. It's not public information. Of course, it's protected by the data protection in Europe, so you cannot like share an address with this kind of data. So we only share the statistics and not the result of each individual test.
In the United States, there's some areas where it's mandatory that it is a public number in the regulations, but if it's not, if the owner is very reluctant to share that information.
Okay, well, thank you. I think we have no more questions. Just a comment, additional information coming from Ireland saying that They have more than 100 registered AirTightness testers. Also that they use the ISO 9972 standard. And AirTightness test is mandatory for all new buildings with achievement usually below 1.5 cubic meters per square meter. I don't know, I guess at 50 pascals. Yes, so if anyone is interested about Ireland, you have more information that is given in the link. And I think that's all.
And we can make also some advertisement for TAC. If someone from Ireland want to join the TAC working group, the TightVent Airtightness Association Committee, that's where from we get all the data that Nolwenn has presented at the beginning. That's an international working group of stakeholders on airtightness. So if you want to join the TAC working group, please, just send an email to Nolwenn or myself, and we will be happy to share the experience of Ireland within the group.